7:41 now on this Friday morning. I mentioned Werner Elmker is our guest today here on I was going to say the Spotlight program. It's not the Spotlight program, although we are spotlighting you.
We're highlighting him.
The highlight. Hi, Werner. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Steve.
Nice to have you in the studios this morning. We're going to talk a lot about Werner. Interesting fellow. If you've been to any event at the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center, you've seen Werner walking around with the cameras hanging around his neck. You are, I was going to say the unofficial photographer, but you're actually the official photographer of the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center, aren't you?
That is correct.
And Art Walk, and maybe the unofficial photographer of Fairfield in general. Is that right?
It's getting to be that way.
Yeah. So, how did you get started in photography, Werner?
I started the same year. I started piano when I was 13 years old, and I started with a Danish master photographer. I read all the books in the library. I made my mother's kitchen into a dark room. Spent hours in the dark room and developed film and did all that kind of good stuff.
And and your feeling as a photographer, the evolution from film to digital, how's that? How have you embraced that?
Well, I took a break in the middle of my career because I didn't like all the chemicals and the pollution coming from film. So I'm very happy about digital, actually.
Yeah. Does the digital world of photography allow you to do other things that maybe film didn't allow you to do?
You can do things with digital you could never do with film. On the other hand, you could do things with film you could never do with digital. So it's always a trade-off.
I never see you without a camera. I mean, every day, are you snapping things every day and looking at things with a photographer's eye?
Pretty much. If I don't have a camera, I have my iPod, so there's always something.
Well, you mentioned that you started taking photography, taking pictures, the same year you started piano in Denmark when you were 13 years of age. And this Sunday evening at the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center, you actually have a recital. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, I'm going to improvise piano music, and that's taken very literally. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to play. I haven't practiced the piano for a month, just to celebrate the tradition that was started many years ago by one of my fellow pianists, in terms of just sitting on stage and improvise. See what happens. It's music of the moment. Now,
I listened. You sent a snippet of some music, a song. Was that improvised as well?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And so, is it an emotion coming out of you at that time? What comes from the brain through the arms to the fingers to the keys?
Now, that's a very good expression. In that particular situation, we have a piano, we have a brain, we have two hands, and a heart, but we also have an audience. And what comes from the audience is some very subtle impulses that the performer can pick up and work with. And to some extent, it's also the audience's music coming out then.
Now, this is improvised, but is there a theme, a genre? Is it jazz? Is it classical? Is it a mashup of genres?
I'm mainly trained as a classical pianist, but it is mainly my own style, whatever that is. Okay, this is my style of music that we're going to hear.
All right. Well, we do have a snippet here of Werner playing the piano, and this is a representative of what you may hear on Sunday evening, 7:30 at the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center. Let's take a few moments to listen to that. I was asking Werner, do you name these pieces?
And I said, I have the date, I have the key that were played in, and sometimes my friends come up with some good names for them, but I have a hard time finding names.
Is there a melodic theme when you perform something like this that's totally improvised?
Well, there are many themes coming up during the evening, but again, I won't tell you. I can't tell you until after the recital what happened. Everything is recorded, by the way, with audio, high quality audio and video, probably 4 video cameras. So it is preserved for posterity that way. But that's the only way you can record. You can tell anything about. You can't notate improvised music.
No, that there was very melodic and sort of ominous at the beginning. Then it got lifted up a little bit in the middle and got very powerful towards the end. The next piece might be completely opposite, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So again, the who, what, where, whens, and whys of your recital on Sunday evening.
Sunday evening at 7:30, and it's probably going to last about an hour. There's probably not going to be an intermission, and we'll see what happens. It's just it's a great opportunity for the audience to actually play me. Sometimes I feel like a puppet on the strings of the audience. They can, to some extent, influence what I'm going to play.
You're a conduit for their emotions.
A conduit, exactly.
So will you be playing the beautiful baby grand piano that is at the song?
Definitely not a baby grand.
It's a grand piano.
It's a concert grand, nine foot.
See, I'm not a piano guy. So
it's a $110,000 grand piano.
Really? That
is in prime shape right now.
Do you get to play that often, Werner? And you mentioned you haven't played for a month or so. But,
yeah. I try to get in there as much as I can, but I'm so busy taking photos that it's actually rare I get the time to sit there.
So let's go back to your photos. Is there a website people can go online and look at your photographs? Or do you do photography outside of the FACC and the art walk and things like that?
Well, yes, I'm also the photographer for the Fairfield Parks and Rec, and you probably noticed that the Fairfield lecture usually they use my photos more and more now, and the best way to.
I was looking at my First National Bank calendar, and you're prominent in that as well.
Right, and the best way to see my photos is definitely Facebook.
Facebook.
That's where they come up.
All right. Again, Werner Elmker is our guest today, and talking about his recital, which is Sunday evening, 7:30. Is there a charge? Is there a ticket charge, Werner, to come to the show?
Yeah, $10.
$10, and tickets available at the ticket office weekday afternoons or a half hour before the program. It's going to be a great show, 7:30 Sunday night. Any final notes before we let you go here this morning, Werner?
Well, just let's see what happens.
Bring the energy.
Bring the energy.
Bring the energy.
Bring the energy. Completely improvised piano recital Sunday evening at the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center. 10 minutes for the top of the hour. We'll be back more in the morning show right after this.